power's preservation. As the curtain lifts on the grand stage of European history, we find ourselves enveloped in the captivating narrative of the House of Habsburg, a dynasty that played a pivotal role in shaping the contours of the continent. The Habsburg dynasty, whose origins can be traced back to the 11th century, spread its wings over Europe, reigning over territories that spanned from the Iberian Peninsula to the lands of Austria and Hungary. The aim was clear: to keep the power within the family, ensuring that the torch of authority was passed down through generations untainted by external influences. One of the most prominent figures to emerge from this lineage was Charles II of Spain, whose reign from 1665 to 1700 marked the zenith of Habsburg power. Charles II, endearingly known as El Hechizado, or the Bewitched, was a product of generations of familial intermarriages. His mother, Mariana of Austria, and his father, Philip IV of Spain, were uncle and niece, a union that symbolized the depth of inbreeding within the dynasty. However, the preservation of power came with a hefty price. The recurrent familial unions led to the rise of the infamous Habsburg jaw, a physical characteristic marked by an elongated lower jaw and a protruding lower lip. Charles II, the epitome of Habsburg inbreeding, exhibited this trait, among other health issues. Plagued by physical infirmities and mental instability, his rule was fraught with challenges, and he remains a poignant reminder of the consequences of inbreeding. The Habsburg jaw, though a stark physical manifestation, was not the only consequence of this intricate dance of bloodlines. The dynasty faced an increased risk of stillbirths and infant deaths, a shadow that loomed over their grand palaces. The lack of viable heirs became a pressing concern, threatening to extinguish the torch they had so diligently tried to keep aflame. Perhaps the most consequential outcome was the inability of Charles II to produce an heir, despite 2 marriages. His health issues, attributed to generations of inbreeding, prevented the continuation of the Habsburg lineage in Spain. Following his demise in 1700, a void opened, leading to the War of Spanish Succession, as European powers scrambled to claim the vacant throne. The Lion and the Unicorn, tangled bloodlines of the British monarchy. The tale of the British monarchy is akin to a grand tapestry, intricately woven with threads of power, tradition, and blood ties. While not as notorious as the pharaohs of Egypt or the Habsburgs for inbreeding, the British royal lineage has its share of closely intertwined familial unions that shaped its trajectory. The tradition of marrying within close blood relations has roots in the medieval period, where the consolidation of power and the preservation of alliances were of paramount importance. One such notable figure was King Edward III, who ruled from 1327 until his demise in 1377. His marriage to Philippa of Hainault, his second cousin, resulted in a lineage that would come to impact the course of British history significantly. This web of interconnected royal bloodlines culminated in the reign of Queen Victoria, often touted as the grandmother of Europe. Her rule, which extended from 1837 to 1901, saw her children intermarrying into various European royal houses, creating a network of relationships that spanned the continent. Queen Victoria herself married her first cousin, Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha, a union that produced 9 children. The practice of marrying within close relations, however, was not without consequences. Hemophilia, a blood-clotting disorder, found its way into the royal lineage, believed to have been introduced by Queen Victoria herself. One of her sons, Leopold, Duke of Albany, inherited this condition, leading to a life fraught with health complications. The royal disease, as it was often referred to, became a poignant symbol of the perils of royal intermarriage. This genetic condition spread to various European royal houses through Victoria's daughters, who were carriers of the gene. As we tread further into the 20th century, we see a shift in the marital practices of the British monarchy. The tradition of marrying within close blood relations began to fade, reflecting the changing social norms and understanding of genetics. Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, and Queen Elizabeth II are third cousins, both great-great-grandchildren of Queen Victoria. However, since their union, No other close familial marriages have occurred in the British royal family. The enigmatic puzzle of heredity, inbreeding's invisible hand. The intricate tapestry of human genetics is a marvel of nature, each thread weaving a complex and unique pattern that tells the story of our ancestry. However, when these threads are knotted too tightly, the fabric of our genetic legacy becomes fraught with challenges. Inbreeding, a phenomenon observed in various societies throughout history, has left its indelible mark on humanity, manifesting in numerous genetic and health consequences. The story of inbreeding's impact on human genetics dates back to ancient civilizations, where familial unions were orchestrated to maintain power and wealth within close circles. The consequences of such unions, however, were often obscured, only to be unveiled by the march of scientific progress. The study of genetics, a relatively young field of inquiry, has unraveled the mysteries of inbreeding's effects on human health. Gregor Mendel, the father of modern genetics, laid the groundwork for understanding heredity in the mid-19th century through his pioneering work on pea plants. Mendel's laws of inheritance provided valuable insights into the world of genetics, illuminating the potential risks of inbreeding. Inbreeding reduces genetic diversity, increasing the likelihood of inheriting undesirable traits and amplifying the risk of hereditary diseases. These conditions, often recessive, surface with greater frequency when closely related individuals reproduce. In recent history, the scientific community has made great strides in understanding the genetic implications of inbreeding. One notable figure in this realm is British statistician and geneticist Sir Ronald Aylmer Fisher, who, in the early 20th century, developed the concept of the coefficient of inbreeding. This measure quantifies the probability of two alleles at a given locus being identical by descent, helping us assess the risks associated with inbreeding. The consequences of inbreeding are not limited to the pages of history books. Today, many isolated communities worldwide still practice consanguineous marriages, leading to increased incidences of genetic disorders. One such example is the island of Pingelap in Micronesia, where a considerable percentage of the population suffers from a rare genetic condition called achromatopsia, or total color blindness, due to the island's isolation and limited gene pool. The advent of genetic counseling and screening has provided a ray of hope in mitigating the risks associated with inbreeding. Pioneers like Sheldon Reed, who coined the term genetic counseling in the 1940s, have paved the way for a better understanding of the interplay between genetics and reproduction, empowering individuals to make informed decisions about their family planning. The wild dance of genes, inbreeding in the animal kingdom, into the regal courts of Europe. The House of Habsburg, a name that commands respect in the pages of European history, was known for similar practices. The infamous Habsburg jaw, a distinct physical characteristic, was a testament to their familial intermarriages. It's important to acknowledge that these practices were not without consequences. The intertwining of close bloodlines increased the chances of undesirable traits and ailments, a price paid for the preservation of power and status. The same Habsburg jaw became a mark of the health issues that plagued the lineage, leading to their eventual downfall. Contrary to popular belief, the practice wasn't limited to regal or noble bloodlines. Inbreeding was also found in isolated communities, hidden away from the prying eyes of the world. Here, the motives were often different: lack of viable partners, geographical isolation, or societal norms. The secluded